I can't hear it.
Me too.
I'll try again.
Me too. All I can hear.
Allows us to repeat.
Can you hear it now?
No, I can't.
Yes, I can. I can hear it now.
Okay, I can hear it now.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Repeat. Hi, in this video, we're going to learn about the value of I in for loops and how we can use it to control our programs. It's been a while since we learned about for loops, so let's review what a for loop is used for. A for loop allows us to repeat code a certain number of times. We've seen this code many times before. This loop tells Tracy to draw a square with sides of length 50. So what is actually happening when we run this loop? Well, the letter I is a variable in our code. I is starting at 0 and increasing by 1 every time the loop repeats, until it hits a value of 4 and ends our loop. So I starts at 0, then the code indented below runs. Then our loop goes back to the top and I increases by 1, so I is now equal to 1. Then our code below runs again. Our loop goes back to the top and I increases by 1, so I is now equal to 2. Then our code below runs again. Our loop goes back to the top and I increases by 1 again, so it is now equal to 3. Then our code below runs. Our loop then goes back to the top and increases by 1, so I is now equal to 4. 4 was the value we told our loop to stop at, so the loop is completed and the program runs the code after the loop. Let's take a look at a Tracy example to see how we can use the value of I in our programs. This example is asking us to draw 9 shapes, from 0 points, which is actually a circle, to 9 points, which is called a nonagon. Each of my shapes is going to have a radius of 20, and I want to send Tracy to a starting position where my shapes will fit on the canvas. So I'll use pen up and set position -180, 0. Let's write a loop to repeat 10 times so I can draw each shape with the same code. For I in range 10. And we know that this will have Tracy count from 0 to 9 and stop at 10. Now I want her to draw my shapes, so I'll use pen down, then circle 20, 360, and what value should I use for my steps? Well, the points of my shape need to increase by 1, and that is how I is counting, so I can just use I. Then I want Tracy to lift the pen up and move forward 40, so the shapes are next to each other but won't overlap. Let's see how this works. Great! In this lesson, we learned how to use the value of I in our for loops to control our code. Look back at the example we completed to help you solve the next set of Tracy challenges.
Okay, so now we're going to look at this example. As you can see, it's at the speed of 5, and done pen up here so it won't leave a line when it goes to this position. And it has a full I in range 10, since that's 10 shape there. And there's the pen down, and so you can see the circle, and there's 0 sides in here. And there's 1, now there's 2, and there's 3, and so on and so forth. And as the video said, it goes forward 40, which is the diameter of each shape, so just be outside the shape. That way they won't overlap. Now we're going to wait for okay, so for this one, I'm going to look at the assignment here so we know what we're doing. And it says start with 0 points and increase the number of points by 1. So that has to happen. Then there have to be line minus 2 points, and triangle 3 points, and square 4 points, and so on and so forth. And all of them will be drawn from the same starting position. And it's difficult to use value of I to control both the radius and shape. So you might have to use a variable called radius to control this. So that's what we're going to do. But first we have to find out where the position is. So we're going to do pen up so it doesn't lead anything. And it looks like the position is actually negative 180. Let's just test that. It's actually too close, so I'm going to try 50. And that looks like that. And as it said, we may have to use a variable called radius. And please can Karis stop pointing remote control on my screen. And it says we have to start with a radius of 20 and increase radius by 20 pixels. So radius, the variable radius should equal 20. Then we'll do for I in range. And we're going to make it 10. And here we'll have to do circle radius as the variable, since it will have to change each time. And after that, we'll do 360, so it will draw the whole shape. Then we can put I for how many sides the shape should have. And after that, we just have to do radius equals radius so that it will increase its amount. So it's going to do radius equals radius plus 20. And let's see how this goes. So we forgot to put the pen down. So it doesn't draw anything. And it says it should be 36, and there's only 6 shapes there. And I forgot to put the code. I forgot to put the brackets. Oh, it actually has to be 7. And just set the speed to 0 to speed things up. And there. Now we can continue.
Can I quickly write that down, please?
Okay.
So was it geometry 2.0?
Mm.
Okay.
Sorry, it's being recorded, okay? So you can watch the video later, okay?
Yeah. So now we're going to watch the video, which is extended loop control, where you learn how to use I even more.
Hi, in this video, we're going to learn about how we can further control the value of I in for loops. We know that the value of I is counting from 0 to an ending value by ones, but can we alter this? Yeah. We can have even more control over the value of I by using more parameters. If we just put one value in for our range, Tracy will default to starting at 0 and counting by 1 up to that value. But if we want the values of I to increase another way, or start at a value other than 0, we can plug these numbers in. The first value we enter is the starting number, followed by the ending value, and then the amount to increase by on each iteration. Let's take a look at an example using these extended parameters. This code is creating a loop where I starts at 10, goes up to 100, and increases by 10 each time. The value of I is controlling the radius of the circles being drawn. So the first circle Tracy draws has a radius of 10, and then I increases by 10 and becomes 20. The value of I keeps increasing this way, 10, 20, 30, 40, until it reaches 100 when it ends. 100 is not included in our loop, so if we wanted our final circle to have a radius of 100, we'd need to make the ending value greater than 100. Let's look at one more example. Here, I is starting at 0 and counting up to 5. We are using I in our code to control the radius of our shape. We're using the extended parameters for our circle command, so Tracy will actually be drawing squares, not circles, because we've entered 4 for the number of points. But when we run this code, it looks like nothing happened. Well, our value of I is starting at 0, so we're first having Tracy draw a square with a radius of 0, which will be nothing. Then our radius is increasing to 1, but a square with sides of 1 pixel are too small for us to see with Tracy in the way. The radius value is increasing until it reaches 5, but that's still too small to see. How can we change this code so she draws shapes we can see? Well, we have two options. The first thing we could do is use a mathematical expression to increase the value of I by 20 each iteration. Or we could alter the value of I by using our extended parameters. Let's take a look at using extended parameters in our Tracy programs. In this example, we want to have Tracy draw a square-shaped swirl where she moves 10 pixels farther after she turns left for 10 repetitions. We could write this code by telling Tracy to move forward a certain amount and then turn left, and then forward another amount and turn, but that would take a lot of lines of code. Using the value of I, our code is going to be much shorter. Let's start by initiating our loop. For I in range, let's use extended parameters to control the values of I in our loop. I want Tracy to move 10 pixels at first, and then 10 pixels further each time, so I can use 10, a number greater than 100, and counting by 10. I want Tracy to move forward, and I want her to move the distance of I, and then I want her to turn left. Let's see if this works. Great! In this lesson, we learned how to alter the value of I even further. Look back at the example we completed to help you solve the next set of Tracy challenges.
Okay, so now we're going to do this example, which is the square swirl. So the 10 times 10, you get 100, but it has to be more than 100, like in the video. So it does one there, and so it goes from 10 and increases by 10 to get to 100, and it takes 10 times. That way it won't just keep on going for 100 times. Now we're going to do the start board. So we're going to look at the assignment, and it says it consists of 4 concentric circles. Has a center circle placed in the middle of the canvas with a radius of 25, and there's 3 circles surrounded the middle that each increases in radius by 25 pixels, and we should use a value of I to control the radius of circles. So I'm going to put for I in range Then I'm going to do 25 for the starting number. It's going to end at 101, actually 100, and it's going to increase by 25 each time. And after that, we're going to circle it by I. We actually isn't need to set position right now. No, just put set position here. I'm actually going to comment that out just so we can see where the circle is going to be. So it is in the correct place, but we still need the set position. So I'm not going to put it here, but I'm going to make a variable called pos, which is short for position. And for that, I'm going to make it equal -25. So it's going to be set position 0 and pause there. Then I'm going to make pause increase. And it's going to increase by 20. It's going to increase by 25. And it's going to do that. And that way you'll keep on going down. Now we also need to pen up here so that it won't leave a line. Then pen down. And now we'll test that with now the code is correct, and we only needed one variable instead of two variables by using the value of I. And here, I'm going to read the assignment first, which has 5 bars that are 10 pixels wide, has 15 pixels between each bar, and it makes the first bar 10 pixels tall, and increases each bar's height by 10 pixels, with the tallest bar being 50 pixels. Okay. I'm going to do for I in range 10 as a starting number, and 51 as an end, and 10 what to increase by. And I is actually a variable, so if you change it to like one I or any letter you want to, like if you just do that, it won't affect the loop anyway. It'll keep on going. So here we're going to do circle, since there's a specific command for this. And okay, so we're going to do circle 10 as the radius, and then we're going to do 360, so it was the whole thing. Then we're going to do 2, 4. It's actually, that's as you know how it goes. Since it has to increase its length, as you can see in the ending program. So we're going to put for I in range inside this loop, since it's still that. But I'm going to actually not do that. Actually, okay, so for I in range, but we don't want it to interfere with the other I. I'm just going to put I1 here. And this is just going to repeat 4 times. So it's going to be forward 10 pixels, then left 90, then forward I, and left 90 again. But I'm actually going to make this 2 since it's doing this part. That way you'll go like that. And it has to be when you for it's 15, since there has to be 15 pixels between each bar. We're gonna put that there. But we forgot to put the pen up. But that also means we'll have to put the pen down for here. Then I'll put pen up. Where you'll go like that, and it should be right. But there's not 15 pixels between each bar. That might be confusing, even though we have it's 15 pixels, but the diameter is actually 10. So you have to plus the 10 to the forward here. That way it'll move across the diameter since it starts from this part again. Now we can run the code and you can see it looks like that. Now we can submit and continue.
Can you quickly go back? I just needed to do one more thing on that.
What is it? What did you need to do?
Just needed to check a line 4.
When I done it, it's doing the wrong thing.
You mean pen down wouldn't happen?
Well, it's just.
Thank you.
Should I show you?
Yeah, I
it's
know
not-
I know that what you're talking about, and it happened to me. But all you need to do is just close it and reopen it, or restart your computer, and it should work. So, just like that, we now have the badge. So now we know how to use I in loops.
Okay, we are going to break out into rooms now. Okay. So, and for those guys that want to lead the room, can you raise your hand up quickly, please? So, okay.
I'm not able to raise up my hand for some reason.
Okay.
This is a new laptop and I'm not able to raise my hand.
Isaac, Gabriel, and Caris. Okay. Isaac, Gabriel. Okay, so we're going to break now. So, and that will be for 20 minutes. Okay, so you try from number 5. Okay.